guys, welcome to a new week. This is our first full week in remote learning, so hopefully everything's going great for you. I was able to connect with most of you, so that's great news. Always remember, if you need to reach out to me, the fastest way is to reach me through messages. Do not comment on the assignment because I won't see that immediately until I go to grade it. So if you need me, reach out to me through messages on the portal and I'll respond as quickly as possible. So we are going to continue in publication design. We just finished doing those newsletters, and now we're going to move on to annual reports. One quick reminder for today, your only activity is to watch me talk, and there's a special video posted by Mr. Nivens. It's a weekly U challenge, so we'll kind of give you an update on the school, and then also a challenge that so that we can continue to be Christ to the community around us. So check that out. It's really good. So our objectives for today, by the end of today, you will know what an annual report is, know why they are important, see why graphic designers are involved in annual reports, learn what should and should not be in the reports, and discuss truthfulness and its merits in annual reports. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, annual reports. What are they? You've probably not heard of these. I actually had never heard of them until I was in college, and I was doing my internship with the City of Jacksonville's Office of Special Events, and I got to work on one of these. And I'm not going to lie, they are a lot of work, but they're really important for company shareholders and investors and just the people that are involved in the company, because it's basically a big year in review that will tell you about the company's accomplishments, facts, and figures. Anybody who has a company typically produces these. So here you see a few examples. Disney's is huge. It's like a book because obviously there's a lot of things going on with that company. Even small places like this Rose Brooks Center, they would have one. Government officials, governments have them. So all kinds of places have them, and they're basically an attractive package showing off what has happened throughout the year. So why do you think graphic designers would be involved in them? Hopefully you're thinking about that answer in your head right now, but because they are an attractive package, they want someone who's going to be able to make it look good and spread the information and present it in a way that's easy to see, first of all, and a way that is attractive to the eye. So how do we make them? There's a few do's and don'ts. I'm going to move me up here now. Hi, guys. So first of all, you do want to keep them simple. When I say simple, it's not going to look like something a first grader meant, but you want to get to the point as quickly as possible. Should be relatable to the company. So obviously Disney's annual report is going to look very different than something like CNN's or Fox, things like that. The YMCA's will even look differently. You want it to be relatable to whatever the thing is. You do want to use images. A lot of times if you put images of people that are actually in your building, that is something that's helpful. So for Disney, they might put images of things from Mickey or to people in the park, or even things in their resorts or restaurants. So there's all kinds of options. You do want to use charts if possible to show data. Obviously, you want the charts to be easy to read, easy to understand, and well-defined. They do want to tell their story. So if you were making this, you would interview the people in the company. You would want to know as much about how they made an impact. Nonprofits are huge for using these. So they use them to tell their story so that hopefully more people will give them money. You do want to be creative. That doesn't mean go crazy, but that does mean find something that stands out and will catch people's eyes. They should evoke emotion if possible. Not everything will evoke emotion, but something like the National Right to Life, that's an organization that helps women who are in the position of deciding whether or not to end a pregnancy. They can tell stories that evoke a lot of emotion of women that decided to keep children, and their lives were better because of it. You also do want to use infographics. So we'll look at infographics tomorrow, so you know what those are. Things you don't want to do. You don't want to duplicate the previous year's report. Don't just take the same exact design and plug in the new numbers. Your people that read these and actually care about these want to see something new. You don't want to put numbers in charts without explanation. So just plastering a bunch of numbers on a page doesn't work. There should be reasoning behind them. You don't want to be rushed and leave it to the last minute. These things take time to build. Typically, you want to put them out as close to the beginning of the new year as possible. Typically, late January, early February is when they start to release them. The longer you take, the less valid and important they become. But you should start working on them early, building the design, and then you can plug in other stuff later. You don't want to forget to proofread. Nothing is worse than putting out something with errors. And two things that seem like they would not be on this list but are very important are you don't want to leave out the bad or be dishonest in any way. So why would you include the bad? Well, if you are honest with your people, with your constituents, with the people that trust you, you're going to build that relationship with them further, and they'll learn to trust you in everything. So as Christians, we actually need to take this a step further. Because we are called to be truthful and honest in everything. That's not just telling the truth, but that's also making sure we're avoiding half-truths and obviously lies in general. So Proverbs 12:19 says, truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment. And that is something that would be incredibly true in this situation. Kinsley, sorry, still being a mom over here. Kinsley, did you hear me? You're too loud. If we're not truthful, especially in the business world, people will find out, and that can be something that can hurt you. So as a designer, encouraging the people that you're working for to be truthful is something that will help elongate their position themselves. Thomas Jefferson also has an amazing quote with this. He who permits himself to tell a lie once finds it much easier to do it a second time and third time, till at length it becomes habitual. He tells lies without attending to it, and truths without the world's believing him. This falsehood of the tongue leads to that of the heart, and in time depraves all its good dispositions. Unfortunately, lying is something that's really, really common, and people don't necessarily feel bad about it. And that's something that's really scary. And if you do it once, it might seem a little bit scary, but the second time might get easier, and finally it gets to a point where you don't even notice that you're doing it. So make sure that your heart doesn't get to that point, especially as a Christian. And then the last one is Psalm 34:13. Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. We are supposed to be truthful in what we're saying. We're called by God to be different and stand out. And this is a way you could do that in the graphic design world. So I challenge you guys, not only as we're pretending to be graphic designers and learning about graphic design, but in your everyday life, make sure that the words you're speaking are truth, and that they are not deceitful, whether that's, even if it's something that might be scary, like telling your constituents, listen, we messed up. Alrighty, so that was a lot of information about annual reports in a short little time. I know that you guys are probably watching a lot of videos, so we're trying to keep them short for you. Tomorrow, we'll analyze some annual reports, and you'll even watch a video on them, and hopefully you'll get a little bit more about that. You guys won't have to create an annual report, but I do want you guys to learn about them because it's something that is huge in the field of graphic design. Have a great day.